I took a poll on my channel about what was stopping people from painting, and I found a motivational solution that will help. Have you heard of the locus of control? The original idea was developed by Julian Rotter in the 1950s, and it talks about internal and external sources of control. But where it gets really interesting is a study that happened in 1998 on a group of 5th graders, carried out by Claudia Mueller and Carol Dweck. Bear with me, this will become relevant in just a minute. What the two ladies did is set a series of hard puzzles to those young people, and then, regardless of how they did, told them they'd done really well. Now, this is the clever bit. Half of those kids were told they'd done really well because they were just naturally gifted, and the other half were told that they'd done really well because they'd worked really hard. What do you think happened next? Because it surprised me. The scientists then gave the kids a series of puzzles, some easy, some average, and some difficult. Then they recorded the results. The kids who were told they were naturally gifted spent most of their time solving the easier puzzles, and much less time solving puzzles overall. When asked, they also reported that they didn't really enjoy the process either. Or to put it another way, they were unmotivated. The kids who were told working hard was the reason they did well though, they spent most of their time working on the harder puzzles, and spent way longer working on the puzzles overall. And to top it off, they enjoyed the process a load more too. Or, to put it another way, they were more engaged and more motivated. So what, right? Well, one of the conclusions you can draw from that is that how motivated you are about something and how much you enjoy it is derived from the amount of control you perceive you have over the situation. Which brings us back to the locus of control, which can either be internal or external. External things are things you have no control over, like the weather, or other people, or your innate ability, if that is indeed a thing. Internal things are things you have got control over, like how hard you work on something. The first kids in the article believed their success was down to whether they were naturally good at a task or not. So it was something they didn't have control over. So when they failed, they said to themselves, well, it must be because I'm not very good then. So they lost motivation and they stopped trying. And because of that, they didn't enjoy the process and they failed. How many times have you seen an amazing painter and thought to yourself, I'm never going to be that good? The second group of kids though, they believed in an internal locus, i.e. their success came from how hard they worked at something. So, when that group failed, they thought, I've got to work harder then. And they knuckled down, and because of that, they had some success. And so they worked harder again, and they succeeded. That made them feel good, so they kept going, and they enjoyed the process a lot more too. And that's the heart of it really. In that poll I took, people said, I don't have time to paint miniatures. I'm afraid I'll mess it up. Or, I'm stuck in a rut. Tellingly though, people didn't say, I don't know how, which implies that they do know what they're doing. We need to flip our thinking around and try and move our own locus internally. There will always be external things going on that we can't control. Nothing we can do about that, obviously. So let's focus on the things that we can control. Often that can be simple little fixes here and there that can help you control your situation. Things like tidying your hobby desk, organising your paints, practicing a specific skill. And when you've done that, take a step back, look at what you did, and reflect that it was your actions that led to that outcome. If this all sounds a bit wishy-washy, I know what you mean. So here's a personal example. I follow some amazing painters, and I'm okay at painting. But I would look at my work and it would always feel a bit rough. So I started to get bummed out, and did the usual things of going on Reddit, blaming my paints, etc. etc. Not surprisingly, this didn't fix things. So I took stock of my situation, moved my locus internally, and focused on what I could control. In this case, the amount of time I put into it, and the knowledge I had. Acting on that, I found a foundation painting class, which was run by Cult of Paint, which I definitely recommend attending for anybody watching this, and spent 6 hours intensively painting with Henry and Andy. It was incredible, and something just clicked. And my painting has been better ever since. So I recognised the weakness, and instead of blaming it on things that I couldn't control, like the paints I had, or my own natural ability at painting, I shifted and focused on something I could control, and it fixed the issue. So it's up to you. You can build the belief that you're in control by focusing on internal factors. And if you do that, maybe you'll never have issues with motivation again. I hope this video was as useful for you as it was for me. If you want to see the video about that light bulb moment, you can click over there And if not, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.